After completing his MBA in finance from ICFAI University, Shankar pursued PGDHRM from Karnataka State Open University, Mysore. He has a vast experience as an educationist, serving as the Dean of Academic Affairs at Vidhyaashram College and Principal at Cresta School of Management, Science and Arts. Currently, he is the CEO of Crossroads Solution and strives for continued excellence, having passion for quality and success. So that was a short introduction of Mr. Shankar Bellur. And today he is here to guide us on preparing for career success amidst the challenge of Industry 5.0. He'll be presenting a presentation in front of all of us. And I think we should not wait any further and we can start the session. So over to you, Mr. Bellur.
Yeah, thank you, Chetna. Okay, let's go through my presentation. As you all know, the topic is preparing for career success amidst the challenges of Industry 5.0. Most of the working professionals are still grappling with the challenges of Industry 4.0. In fact, many sectors, even in Indian economy, have not completely moved into Industry 4.0, and we already have a new revolution of Industry 5.0. In fact, for some of you, this might be a little surprising, but as we all know, change is the only constant what we have been seeing in this world. I hope all of you have been enjoying the challenges of your professional life, because be it an individual or a business entity or a corporate entity, we all need to change. And the underlying is this change should be for the better. This change should ensure that the objectives or the goals what we set out for should be accomplished comprehensively. With this thought in mind, I just want to give you a technical understanding of what Industry 5.0 is all about. Because Industry 4.0 per se was more known for the new and emerging technologies. In fact, most of these new and emerging technologies have not been completely leveraged upon. We have still not seen complete utilization of the potential of new and emerging technologies. Just to get a historical perspective of Industry 5.0, if we can go back in time and see where this industrial revolution started, as we all have studied in our history, it all started in Europe with the first industrial revolution. Back then, we all knew it was a producer's market because there was a scarcity of producers. There are very few producers and large consumers or buyers. So whatever was produced, irrespective of the scale, it was being consumed in the market. And over a period of time, the market started attracting more and more producers, more and more manufacturers. Thereby, the customers or the consumers started getting choices. And with customers having an increasing say, the way the market is going to pan out, industries started focusing more on quality, more on features, and more on services. They wanted to see how through their offerings they would be able to add value to their customers or clients. With this came the Industry 4.0, as I said earlier. The highlight was the new and emerging technologies, just to name a few: artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, IoT, 3D printing, AR, VR, cloud computing, blockchain technology. These are some of the technologies which actually revolutionized, and it in fact ensured there was a paradigm shift the way business models were built in the market. The catchword now was efficiency, the catchword was quality, the catchword was value addition to customers. Now, leveraging on these technologies, how industries were able to provide the value addition to customers is what we have seen in Industry 4.0. The whole idea was to make people's life better and better, to enable them, to equip them, and finally to empower the clients so that they can have the best of life. Industry 4.0 is still pretty prevalent across industries because technology has been impacting every sector of the economy. And with this, a change came in. The way the roles and responsibility of the employees were looked at were underwent a change. AI or machine learning or any of the technologies what I named before, basically we were relying on artificial intelligence or giving intelligence to machines so that they could become smart machines. We all know that though machines are our own inventions or our own creations, it is we who give them the intelligence, it is we who make them smart machines. But still, when it comes to efficiency, speed, and accuracy, we humans are no match for these machines. Then suddenly a question cropped up. Is Industry 4.0 or the upcoming Industry 5.0, is it going to take out the jobs? Well, you'll have to look at it in a very comprehensive manner. According to World Economic Forum's job report of 2018, by the year 2026, 52% of the jobs in the market would be done by machines. And in fact, they have even made an extensive research on what are the kind of jobs which is going to be replaced by machines. To just understand the essence of it, any job which is repetitive, monotonous, and has a set pattern or a protocol, machines are going to take over to the extent of 52% of the job market. Then the question obviously is going to rise. Is machines, our own creation, is it competing with humans or is it taking away or eating away our jobs? Well, the answer is both yes and no. Let's have a more detailed discussion going forward. Now, what's Industry 5.0? This is the place where industrial revolution started, the Europe. According to European Union, this is the understanding of Industry 5.0. The first aspect is there are three clear and distinct aspects of Industry 5.0, or we can even call them the three pillars of Industry 5.0. The first one being, it says it should provide a vision of industry that aims beyond efficiency and productivity, which was the sole concern of industrial revolution 1.2 or 2.0, because back then, since it was producer market, the focus was mainly on efficiency and optimal productivity. But now, instead of aiming only at efficiency and productivity as the sole goals, they're trying to reinforce the role and the contribution of industry to society. They are bringing in a new element of society here, which means Industry 5.0 will be human centric. When I say human centric, it could be not just the clients or the customers, it could be the vendors, the suppliers, the employees. All stakeholders would be involved in this. Second aspect, it places the well-being of the worker at the center of the production process and uses new technology to provide prosperity beyond jobs and growth while respecting the production limits of the planet. It means somewhere the realization is now dawning on industry experts and leaders that we don't have an infinite source of resources available. Every resource which industry is making use to churn out the end product or the finished product, we all need to understand it all comes with some limits. So therefore, looking at how we can probably be efficient so that we can sustain these resources over a period of time without harming the planet or the ecosystem. So here we are talking about the sustainability aspect. And the third aspect is it complements Industry 4.0 approach by specifically putting research and innovation at the service of the transition to a sustainable, human-centric and resilient industry. And here in the third pillar or the third aspect, the highlight is being the resilience. One thing we all need to agree, going forward, disruptive technologies are going to be the norm. They are not the exceptions anymore. Recently, we could see one ChatGPT in its beta version itself. When it came, a technological giant like Google had a knee-jerk reaction and it immediately shunted out around 10,000 employees. As if Google was not anticipating that ChatGPT is going to come or any such technology is going to hit the market. That was an anticipation, but this knee-jerk reaction of a technological giant is going to convey us or is going to make us believe that going forward there would be lot of impact of disruptive technologies like ChatGPT. So this being the case, how is that an organization sustain its success? Because there's two aspects of success. One, for a startup, gaining success is one challenge, but equally bigger challenge could be to sustain the success over a period of time. Therefore, sustainability is also a huge challenge. So if you look at Industry 5.0, the three pillars are very clear. One is it has to be human centric. It means all stakeholders welfare and well-being has to be considered. Second, sustainability of success and operations so that we live in harmony with nature, because it is nature which is providing us with all the resources which we require in industry. And third aspect is there is no alternative either for an individual or for an organization other than being resilient, because we all know that challenges or problems or issues are going to crop up unannounced, and as and when they come, instead of being reactive, we should be able to predict those challenges, those issues, by being proactive. This will help us to be more agile, more nimble, and counter the challenges much more effectively, which is the hallmark of resiliency. So all these three aspects are the highlights of Industry 5.0. We have already discussed what human centric is: employees, clients, suppliers, society at large. Because whatever operations or activities a business organization does would obviously be, keeping the well-being of the entire society. And then resilience, as we have already discussed, resilience is all about being proactive and not being reactive to a situation, no matter what the situation is, because we know no matter how powerful a business entity or an individual entrepreneur could be, they simply cannot control the external environment. External environment is always throwing challenges and issues to organizations. So given that situation, there is no alternative other than being resilient to bounce back from any adverse situation. And here the advantage for any proactive organization would be they will probably have more time to think, plan, and prepare compared to organization which are just reactive. So therefore, what applies to business entity also applies to individual employees who work in this kind of a job market. Resilience has to be part of our personality. And then sustainability, basically, it's about people, it's about planet, and also not sacrificing the profitability of the institution, because we all know that end of the day, no business organizations are for charity or they don't work on charity. For them, profit is the lifeline. And for someone to make profit, we know that they have to make optimal production. When they are making optimal production, it has to be balanced with ecological concerns and social concerns of the society also. So these three being the major aspects of Industry 5.0. Now, if we can just look at some of the factors which is affecting the future of the job market, one is obviously adoption of new and emerging technologies like AI, robotics, AR, VR, metaverse, IoT, quantum computing, 3D printing, blockchain, all of this is definitely impacting the market, the way business models are being built, the way business are being done. Then we are seeing a lot of shifts in global economic growth. We know that even the World Bank and even IMF have openly acknowledged that going forward, Asia would be the driver or the engine of the economic growth of the world. And in particular, the expectation from China and India is really high. So therefore, there has been a shift in the global economic growth more towards Asia, and in particular India and China. Obviously, this will also impact the talent migration, and gig economy is going to be the order of the day. Probably the days where we were being part of an organization on a full-time role, or on pay, such things are going to be very rare and few. Most of us, based on the skill set what we are going to develop, based on this specialty skill set what we are going to develop, we would be assigned a particular project. So therefore, gig economy, where we'll be working basically on projects or we'll be freelancing, would be the order of the day. In fact, if my data is right, probably by 2022 in US economy, almost 32% of their economy was on gig. So this is going to, and in India also, according to NASSCOM report, around 18% of our economy was on gig. So this is only going to become bigger and more diverse. Then we have shifts of mindset among the new generation, especially the millennials and centennials, because their aspirations have changed, the way they're looking at life, their attitude has changed. This is definitely impacting the job market. And there is new challenges in energy supplies and global supply chain, because we know how COVID-19 pandemic hit the world pretty badly because of the over reliance on China for the global supply chain. And we all know that fossil fuels or the carbon fuels is coming to an end. So the world is now looking at more sustainable, more eco-friendly energy supplies, where something like solar or wind energy are going to play a very prominent role. In fact, this new energy supplies is even impacting the automobile sector in a very big manner. That's why we are seeing more of electrical vehicles and hybrid technology. And finally, we have a lot of climate changes, global warming, pandemics. All of these factors are definitely impacting the job market, and they're posing new challenges. So collectively, for the corporates, they don't have a choice other than finding a solution to how overcome these challenges and also leverage on this so that they can look for growth. Because we all know that progress and growth has to be consistent. So therefore, in spite of these challenges, they still have to go ahead with their growth strategies. So if you're thinking, what would be the future of the job market? Would it be exciting or scary? I feel, it's anyone's guess. It depends, I feel, on a particular aspect. How job prepared are you? You can take it from me. If you are not prepared well, then obviously it is going to scare you out, because there's a little paradigm shift. A lot of dimensions are changing. What was earlier considered as the critical factors for your career success is also changing. So therefore, if you understand what is happening, what to expect in the future job market, and if you prepare and plan, then obviously it is going to be exciting. You can actually ride the wave, or else the wave is going to throw you out of the market. One critical aspect about industry 5.0 is skills. Industry 4.0 was skills, industry 5.0 is also skills. Now, just to give you a perspective, you might be wondering, then what's the difference between industry 4.0 and 5.0? 4.0, there was an excessive focus only on developing technology, only on innovation. Somewhere the corporate heads or the business leader probably didn't understand that whatever they do, end of the day, should be able to impact the society in a very positive manner. Only then they'll be able to sustain their success. If not, if there is no acceptance from the market, if there is no continued or consistent patronage from the market, then no matter how innovative your product or service is going to be, people are just not going to encourage that. So this realization made them think 4.0 is all about technology, is all about skills. Now in 5.0, they said we need all those technologies. I mean, there's no thought of going back on this technology. We also need the skill set required for leveraging on these technologies, but we are looking at it from a different perspective. We are looking at this growth or this industry challenges from a new perspective. The thought has changed, but the tools have remained the same. So what were the tools? If you look at Industry 4.0, as I said, emerging technology is all about tools and techniques. How good you are, how efficient you are, how competent you are in leveraging on these tools and technologies. Now skills became the best differentiator, the most effective differentiator to prepare yourself for future job market. I've just coined a small acronym. I call it CASH, KASH. What I feel is no matter how technology is going to impact the job market, but if someone can prepare themselves based on this CASH model, I'm very sure they can future proof their career success in spite of whatever challenges. And this acronym CASH stands for K stands for knowledge. And in talk of knowledge, I'm not talking of the theoretical knowledge or what is being taught under the template of syllabus in schools and colleges. Because now we know that going forward, the focus is not on your academic performance, because we need to understand academic world and corporate world are two different entities. Just because you have done good in academics doesn't necessarily mean you're also going to do good in the academic world, because the academic world or the corporate world expects you something more, expects from you something more than what has helped you to do well in academics. The kind of education what we had just encouraged rote learning. Mere rote learning and having good credentials in academics necessarily doesn't translate into career success. So therefore, knowledge for me is all about how to utilize the concept in finding solutions to real-time issues, finding solutions to problems. That is how your knowledge should be. It should be sharp and it should be applicable. Then A stands for attitude. Attitude is everything. Please take it from me. When I say attitude, I mean the entire personality should be honed so positively. It should be so robust that going forward, whatever challenges you're going to encounter, you should be able to face it with a lot of optimism and positivity. Yes, talks about the skill set, which we are going to discuss little in detail. And H stands for habits. Habits is about lifestyle. So if you can work on your knowledge, application oriented knowledge, on your attitude, building a robust and strong attitude, gaining the skill set, developing the skill set which is required. When I talk of skills, obviously I'm including both the technical skills, or which is also known as hard skills, and the soft skills. And I was one of those who used to feel that soft skills is a very normal way of looking at the importance of the soft skills. And I'm very happy that the experts are now calling the soft skill the human skills. The advantage of human skills is it is transferable across all projects. You can seamlessly transfer these skills across projects. Whereas your technical skills is specific to certain projects. Probably what technical skill you use for one project, project A, you probably cannot replicate it in project B. But these human skills or soft skills, they are fantastic tools for you, which you can use it as differentiator. I'm just naming a few skills here. Critical thinking and problem solving, very very important, because today's world needs people who can analyze a situation, understand a problem, and find a solution to it. Cognitive flexibility, the most important aspect each one of us have to develop within ourselves, because there was a time when with people with just one academic qualification and a set of skill, they used to complete their entire career for 30 to 40 years. But today's world, as we know, we call it VUCA world, very volatile and uncertain. Things keep changing so rapidly that you need to have a cognitive flexibility where you should be prepared to learn something new, unlearn it, and again relearn, depending on the requirement of the industry. Because we all have seen there is an inherent resistance to change in humans. And this resistance to change will become rigidity within our thought process. And this can hamper our career growth pretty badly. So, therefore, developing cognitive flexibility is the key for career success. Ensure that your inquisitiveness, curiosity, leading to new ideas, curiosity or creativity, because only when you're curious, you can become creative. And when you're creative, you can come out with new ideas. Innovation, which will definitely impact both efficiency and effectiveness. When I say communication, I also mean active listening. You need to develop the listening skills to understand. Because passive listening is only about listening to respond. It means I'm not open minded, I'm not curious, I'm not interested in understanding the message. I just want to remember few things so that I can respond back. But active listening, on the other hand, you exhibit that inquisitiveness, that curiosity to understand the information. So it's very important that in communication, all of us develop active listening. And this will also have a very good impact on our interpersonal skills or the way we interact with the team. Cognitive load management, again, one of the skills, is must, mainly because today's world is about data and information. I mean, there's a deluge of data and information across the globe, and I should know what is the information which is right for me and how I can leverage on it, and what are the information I need not bother. This is very important, that you have to manage your thoughts, you manage your information and manage the cognitive load. And probably collaboration and leadership. Here I want to talk about, because I believe you would have probably know more about, leadership or collaboration. Collaboration has come under renewed focus, mainly because of the impact of COVID. Because see, earlier when we spoke about team or team collaboration, we meant people working under one roof, being in one geographical place. And post COVID or during the COVID, we have seen, working from home has become the norm in many industries. It means people of one team can be in diverse geographical locations. So collaboration has really become challenging. And leadership, as we all know, is all about understanding a situation, taking the responsibility of getting the task done, and completing it to the satisfaction of the objective. So collaboration and leadership are becoming complementary to one another. Here, I just want to talk about one aspect: bounded rationality. In industry, it's not about making a satisfactory decision or giving a satisfactory results. It's all about finding the optimal solution or optimal results. And bounded rationality, because of any reasons, it could be because of lack of time or lack of collaboration or lack of communication skills, might prevent me from reaching out to people, reaching out to sources. And this is going to definitely impact the quality of decisions he or she is going to make. So therefore, please make sure that you get out of this bounded rationality, you reach out to people, you collaborate with people, you take the onus, take the responsibility, and get things done. If you can work on this, I think these are some of the skills, which can really act as the differentiate. Now the question comes: industry 4.0 and also leading to 5.0, is it humans versus machines? As I told you earlier, back in 80s, when under the government of India initiative, computers were widespread. A lot of computers were brought into India, and then there was a debate. I remember there was a lot of debate in the media also, and the newspaper used to claim computers are going to take away human jobs. One computer will do 10 people's job, and that was the ratio most of the media was subscribing to. Now looking at industry 4.0 and 5.0, the idea is it's not humans versus machines, it is humans plus machines. In fact, we have to cohabit and collaborate with machines. And as I told you earlier, when it comes to machine, the speed, accuracy, efficiency, though it's our own creation, we are no match for it. It means we'll have to look at those skills or those attributes which cannot be replicated by machines. For example, creativity is still now an exclusive domain of humans, whereas productivity is for machines. Innovation can only come from human mind, whereas machines can work for zero waste. Humans are for authenticity, original idea, whereas machines can only multiply. It can just duplicate an idea given by a human. So if you look at this as a concept, what it means is, though the jobs in terms of quantity of hours or labor hours, the machines are going to overtake humans, but the job per se, that is the number of job per se, is actually going to increase. This is what happened in late 80s also, after computers were welcomed in India, brought into India. Similarly, now artificial intelligence is going to create more jobs, but the flavor of the jobs or the job profiles would be different, the dynamics would be different. So therefore, what I suggested in the previous slide about the skills, cognitive flexibility, be prepared to unlearn and relearn new things, or be prepared to collaborate not just with humans but also with machines. These are some of the skill set which is going to ensure that you will not only survive, but you will definitely succeed given the challenges of the industry 5.0. I think this sums up, we humans, we basically now are competing, or we are in the same space as the machines. Before I wind up my presentation, I just want to say one thing. The biggest challenge for any employee or professional in today's world would be to be themselves and to leverage on their uniqueness. Now, if you can ask me, sir, uniqueness is a pretty generic term. What exactly you mean by uniqueness? I just define it by a pi formula, PAI. What does this PAI stands for? P stands for your personality or the personality type. A stands for your aptitude or your ability, and I stands for your interest. If an individual can understand their pi factor, that is their personality, their aptitude, and their interest, then you will be able to leverage on your uniqueness. And even science also supports us on this particular aspect, because if you have studied our biology in a 10th standard or in our high school, we all know that it says that our fingerprint and our DNA pattern is unique only to us. It means we have certain inherent strength, we have a unique personality, we have our unique aptitude, we have our own specific interest. Now, the whole idea is, in alignment with all of these three factors, I need to decide on the domain. And once I decide on a domain, please understand, the corporate world is all about performance and contribution. Because the other day, someone was asking me, why should I pick up a job or a career based on my interest? Because if the package is good, anyway, I'm going to work. So I said, when we say career, we are talking of the next 30 years of your precious life. And in 30 years, it's a pretty, marathonish kind of thing. You have to continuously keep performing and contributing to the organization goal. So for you to perform and contribute, one thing is very obvious. You always have to keep yourself updating with the new skills, updating with the new knowledge, updating with the developments happening in your industry. And you tell me, if as an individual, if I'm not interested in my domain, would I take the initiative of going beyond? I'm saying this with a lot of responsibility. Most of the people, in spite of their probably whatever skills they have, technical skills they have developed, they have not been able to leverage on it and probably go higher in their career, mainly because they have not exhibited their learning interest. And if you have not developed interest in learning the new things in your domain, then obviously when the challenges come, you will not be able to perform or contribute to the organization cause. So therefore, this is definitely going to hamper or limit your career growth or success. So please leverage on your uniqueness, understand who you are, what is it you want. Be open. Be open for new ideas, because this future is all about new ideas. How comfortable you can be with changes, because as I earlier said, inherently every human will resist change, but for us, we have to be comfortable, not just comfortable, we actually need to enjoy these changes, enjoy these challenges. So the rule number one for any individual to succeed in this VUCA world or in this volatile world is you first have to get out of your comfort zone. Because comfort zone is, is a mental thing. It's a mental template which you put yourself into. And you keep looking at excuses why you don't want to move out of the comfort zone. What I encourage professionals is, please look at that one strong reason why you want to move out of your comfort zone, explore things, learn things, and become an expert. Going forward, you have to be an expert or a specialist in something and a generalist in a lot of other things. Because what was conventionally in IT industry, the technical roles, functional roles, techno-functional roles, this kind of categorization is going to get blurred. Because every individual, no matter what role they are in, they have to be comfortable with technology, because it's all dominated by technology. And once we are associated with technology, change is something which is part of the package. So this is why I say, please understand your uniqueness, find your domain, invest your time, your effort, your energy in that, become an expert. Until unless you prove your competency, it becomes very tough for you to have a long-term career goal or an aspiration. Now I am open for any questions.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this really thought-provoking session. And you beautifully and seamlessly navigated us through the entire what complexities the Industry 5.0 brings along with itself. So that was really amazing. I am pretty sure that the audience, you kept all the audience hooked till now. And yeah, so I think we can take up questions. So the chat box is open for everyone, and if you have any questions, people, you can just.
I think
Okay, so we
An-
have.
Anushka Prakash has a question, I believe.
Yeah. So Anushka asks, with the rise of Industry 5.0, the demand for digital skills is increasing across various sectors. I belong to a non-technical background. How can I acquire these essential digital skills, and what are some resources or programs available for self-learning?
I mean, that's a fantastic question, Anushka, because I can relate with that. Because when I worked for my industry, I worked for a couple of years in IT industry as a functional resource. I was into capital markets. In fact, after my entire process was done of interview, and I was offered the job, the CEO point blank told me, unless you learn certain skills ABC, I'm sorry, I don't want you to come and join. Back then, I was not comfortable using an Excel sheet, a spreadsheet. He said, I mean, it's very, I mean, inevitable. And back then we were also using a software tool. He said, at least learn the basic query. I think probably you might be knowing there's something called structured query language, SQL. SQL was something, what was being used then in that particular company. And I was not aware what was SQL. I had never used my spreadsheet, because before that I had worked in a government organization in Indian Railways. I was not aware of any of these tools. And it took me almost 2 months for me to learn all of this, make myself comfortable. Then I said, sir, now I'm comfortable, I would like to join. And since you say, you come from functional background, this is exactly what I was trying to tell you. Going forward, the so-called, demarcation of technical, non-technical, I think, it's all going to get erased. It's all going to, go away. We should not look at ourselves as, I am only functional, so I am only accountable for so and so activity, or I am technical, I am accountable only for so and so activities. I mean, that is not going to be the norm. If you can just elaborate on this, going forward, each one of us should have a startup mentality in ourselves, or we should be comfortable with startup culture. What exactly I mean by startup culture is, I mean, no one is going to train you, no one is going to tell you how to do the job. You need to learn on your own. So, and whatever it takes for you to perform, whatever it takes to contribute, you need to learn all of that. And with regard to some of the sources, now we have some fantastic online resources. I mean, it could be Unacademy, it could be Coursera. We have many such organizations which offer you online. But for me, one suggestion from my end is, if you can find someone from the industry who is actually using the skill and talk to them, and if you can be mentored by them, it would be nothing like that. Learning the technicalities, of course, there are many sources, but also see, if you can find a mentor for yourself who is from the domain, that would be of great help for you.
I think Anushka, you understood. Um, you got your answer. So moving on to the next question. Shreya has a question. She asks, how do you envision the future of careers with the advent of Industry 5.0? And what advice would you give to recent graduates?
Yeah, Shreya, I'm happy that you asked me this, because generally, at least till now, though now India is supposed to be on the threshold of changes in higher education with the implementation of NEP 2020, but still most of the universities and higher education institutions, they are still following our legacy model. The legacy model, though was built by British with a different intention, even after 76 years of independence, we are still continuing with that. The focus here is more on rote learning. And marks is the only criteria to evaluate how you have performed in a particular academic program. And as I said earlier, the world of academics and the world of corporate, they're two different entities. The dynamics are very different. So now, as a young graduate, what I suggest you is, other than, I'm not saying academics is not important, and just for your information, you can Google this and get more information. In the year 2019, when Ginny Rometty was the CEO of IBM, she brought in a change in the hiring policy of IBM. And what she did was, for all open positions at global IBM company, going forward, formal college degree was no more mandatory. Then obviously there was a query. If formal college degree is not mandatory, then on what basis are you going to hire people? She said only two things. One is they have to demonstrate the skill set which we are looking for. Second thing is their emotional intelligence, or EQ, emotional intelligence quotient. Only based on these two we are going to hire graduates. So for you, I think I told you my cash model, KASH. So that's why I said, when you study, don't study only for the sake of marks or doing well in the exam. Study because you want to learn. You want to understand. Just bring back the joy of learning in your student career. Hone your attitude, make it very positive and strong and robust. Develop all the skill set which is required according to your career goal, both the technical as well as the soft skills. And finally, you have to be disciplined. I mean, I don't know to what extent younger generation can relate with this, but I still feel, being a old school guy, discipline is something for me, which can enhance your efficiency. So anything which helps you to enhance your efficiency, I'm all for it. So if you can work on these models, I think, you can definitely face the challenges with a lot of confidence.
I totally agree with you, whatever you said. Um, Discipline can, either break you or make you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right. So let's move on to the next question. Nishan has a question. He asks, do you think all jobs will eventually be replaced by AI, and what jobs are actually being threatened by AI?
That's a fantastic thing, Nishan, to talk about. I think I referred to that World Economic Forum's job report of 2018. If you're a little inquisitive, I encourage you to please Google that. It's a PDF, it's in PDF format, that job report. I want you to download it, and whenever you have time, please go through it, because it's going to give you a lot of data and insights into how this future job market is going to change. What would be the dynamics of the future job market? And one aspect you are going to get there very clearly, that in from their data they say 52% of the jobs would be replaced. 52% of the jobs would be replaced by machines. And as I told you, when it comes to speed, accuracy and efficiency, we are simply no match for machines. So in fact, I've even given you a list. If you're on LinkedIn also, you can find that report. Any job which is monotonous, repetitive, and has a set pattern or a protocol, all such jobs, you can take it from me. It's only a matter of time. Maybe not 2026, or it could be 2030 because of the COVID. There has been some disturbance, but it's only a matter of time before which all routine monotonous job would be replaced by machines. I told you when we were kids, in a school, the same argument was put forth for computers because there was a lot of resistance. Computers going to eat away job. No, it did not eat away job. In fact, it created a lot of jobs. And today, as Indians, if we can take pride in companies like Infosys or Wipro or TCS, it's basically because of computers and the software leaders, who we are in the world. So new kind of jobs is going to come. That is exactly what I'm. Now the situation is in a flux. No one can exactly say the job profile will be something like this going forward. Lawyers would still be needed, doctors would still be needed, accountants would still be needed, but the job profile, the flavor, the dynamics is going to change. That is where cognitive flexibility and your appetite to learn new things is going to come. So if you can, develop all the skill set, what I had showed you in my presentation, you will be preparing and you will be at an optimal place, where you can face these challenges and definitely, do well in your future. And all jobs will definitely not be replaced. You can take it from me.
Thank you so much for this answer, Mr. Shankar. Also, like you said, that adaptability is the key. Like even for the professionals that are right now in the market, that are right now doing their jobs and have maybe 5-10 years experience, maybe 10 years down the line, uh, along these along these 10 to 15 years, they will have to adapt to the changes. Otherwise, they can also become stagnant in their work profiles, and they can also be replaced by AI. Yeah, so I think adaptability is the key here.
That's why I always encourage youngsters, don't have a fixed mindset. Be progressive. I mean, if we continue to keep be reactive, then we are only looking at survival in our career. I say be proactive, understand the changes, what is going to happen, talk to experts, go through the blogs, listen to what industry leaders are saying. This is going to give you more time to adapt and also help you to prepare better.
Yeah, correct.
Because going forward, the
Like we
job
can
market
see.
is all about preparation. How well you are prepared, how well are you prepared? Because academics is not going to play any major role here. If you look at the example
Yeah.
what IBM did, in fact, Chetna, I mean, I just want to share this with my listeners here. I recently saw an ad on LinkedIn, and this company is from Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
They had asked for certain attributes in terms of skills. These are the skill set we are looking forward. This is the job profile, and just below that, they had mentioned in bold. I think this would be surprising for many. Your educational qualification do not matter to us.
Wow.
If anyone wants it, you can contact me. I can share it on WhatsApp. This is an I anticipated this happening in India probably in the next 1 decade, because
Hmm.
2019 is when it started in the Silicon Valley, that they started focusing more on skill set and emotional intelligence rather than on academic accomplishment. But down the line 4 5 years, this has already started happening in India.
Yeah.
This is
Hmm.
just the beginning,
So
and going forward, it's going to catch up. It's going to catch up. Therefore, the younger generation has to prepare themselves, for these challenges. They can't rely only
so
on their
like you
academic accomplishments.
okay, sorry. So, Ms. Shankar, like you said before, that the world is expecting a lot from India and China. So, the students who are going abroad for their studies or for a better life, for a better life culture. So, what do you think? Will it change in next few years?
Well, the anticipation is there, but still, in terms of the ecosystem, let's be very pragmatic, and clear here. See, if today, if I ask any of you, to Google and find out the top 10 or even top 20 brands, top 20 brands of the world, I'm very sure you're not going to find even a single Indian company brand there. You don't find a single brand, and I'm really, ashamed of, giving this bit of information. But the irony is, if you look at the people who are managing these companies, more than 50% of them are Indians. So, what is lacking in our system is we lack innovation and creativity in our thought process. Because the problem lies in our education system, because we are made to learn one right answer for one question. Whether we understand the concept, that becomes immaterial. I'll be evaluated based solely on what I write on the answer script. And if I can mug it up, learn by rote, and reproduce there, I get my marks. And this has discouraged the students from raising questions. We don't raise questions, we don't ask queries, we don't ask doubts. In fact, this younger generation, should be surprised. I think there is now something new in the industry happening. They call it as prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is all about asking the machines the right questions. And going forward with something like ChatGPT becoming very dominant, and I'm very sure this prompt engineering as a course is also going to be much in demand. Now see the irony, we have to train the people to raise the right questions. And in fact, inquisitiveness or curiosity is inherent in every kid. When we are born, we are all curious. We all ask a lot of questions. We look at everything with a lot of wonder. But unfortunately, our education system discourages us from asking questions. And if you're not curious, if you don't raise questions, then how can you be creative? So what I feel is, as far as this ecosystem is not replicated in India or probably even China, and China, because of the socio-political conditions, I don't think China can ever attract foreign students to the extent of what West does. Maybe India, if can adopt that ecosystem of encouraging innovation and creativity, because in Indian education system, if I make a mistake, I'll always be punished. I'll always be penalized for marks. So therefore, I don't think differently. I don't want to, because I want only marks. So we have made education unidimensional. Until and unless we change this, I don't see we attracting, or our own best not going to Western countries.
Okay, thanks for answering this very simply and clearly. Thank you so much. So I think we also don't have any other questions from the audience as well. So I think we can wrap the session right here. And once again, thank you so much, Mr. Shankar Bellur, for this amazing session. I think it was very informative, even for me. So I don't know what the audience might be thinking right now.
Well,
Yeah.
Bhavtor
So
says thank you. Anushka Prakash says thank you. Thank
yeah,
you so much,
she
guys,
yeah.
for all of you being part of this. Thanks, Swapnil, for the opportunity. Let's keep in touch. Hopefully, we can do something meaningful, together as a team.
Vijay also says this session was amazing, sir. Great.
Thank you,
Thanks a
Vijay.
lot, people, for joining.
Thanks,
Yeah, thank you
Chetan.
so much
Yeah.
again. Thanks a lot, sir. Yeah, bye bye. Take care.